In an industrial area, a long and heavy steel component is being transported to another location using a crane. While workers attempt to lift and guide the load, a problem with the rigging system or a sudden movement causes the material to lose balance. The uncontrolled swinging load strikes a nearby worker with force, knocking them to the ground. These moments clearly demonstrate how dangerous lifting operations can be. Loads must always be properly secured. Pre-lift inspections must be carried out, and a safe clearance zone must be established around suspended loads. Otherwise, similar incidents can result in far more severe outcomes. An unseen hazard inside a confined tank can create a danger that is difficult to detect from the outside. At an auto repair workshop, a previously used fuel tank is being prepared for welding. It becomes clear that the vapor inside the tank has not been fully drained or adequately ventilated when the welding flame contacts the tank's surface. The remaining gas inside heats up and rapidly expands. The increasing pressure compromises the tank's structural integrity, resulting in a sudden explosion. Nearby workers recognize the danger and quickly evacuate the area. Fuel tanks must be completely emptied and cleaned with inert gas before welding, and heat must never be applied to closed containers that may still contain. Vapor gas measurements should be taken before working on equipment with potential pressure risks. At a construction site, a serious accident occurs as a truck-mounted crane attempts to lift a front loader. During the lift, the crane loses its balance and the vehicle tips onto its side. At the same time, the suspended front loader breaks free from the rigging and falls into a nearby ravine. This incident highlights how critical it is to properly assess ground conditions, accurately calculate load weight, and use stabilizing equipment when lifting heavy machinery. Cranes must always be set up on level, solid ground. Loads must be properly rigged, and clear safety zones must be established to prevent similar accidents. Footage recorded during a bridge or overpass construction project shows a massive structural collapse. While workers are operating near one section of the structure, a large span of concrete and steel suddenly loses its load-bearing capacity without warning and violently collapses downward. Within seconds, the failure affects the entire structure, creating an extremely dangerous situation on site. This incident demonstrates that temporary support systems must be engineered and approved, and that hazardous areas must be clearly isolated. It also underscores the necessity of strict quality control over materials and construction methods to prevent such catastrophic failures. This incident happened in Spain. A French fishing vessel was in a port for repairs when it slipped off its blocks and came crashing down. Luckily, nobody was on board or injured, but for sure, the workers there were less than thrilled. At a construction site, a massive steel tank weighing several tons is being lifted, using ropes and hoisting equipment. Although the operation appears planned, it becomes clear that the setup is not sufficiently stable and the load is not fully secured. Despite this, some workers continue to stand dangerously close to the suspended load as the lift progresses. Tension on the ropes increases and the unstable structure becomes more stressed. Shortly after, the tank shifts sideways and falls uncontrollably, slamming hard into the ground. Debris scatters around as the team quickly intervenes and halts the operation. These images make it clear that heavy loads must only be lifted using appropriate rigging equipment. In a serious traffic accident in China, a truck traveling at high speed fails to notice a line of vehicles formed due to road work ahead. Although the driver attempts to brake at the last moment, there is not enough distance for the heavy vehicle to stop. The truck crashes into multiple vehicles, causing a chain reaction collision. At the same time, a person standing on the road narrowly avoids being struck by only seconds. These images once again emphasize the critical importance of speed control and maintaining a safe following distance, especially for heavy vehicles. Drivers must also significantly reduce speed and remain fully attentive when approaching road work zones. At a manufacturing facility, a worker operating near a high-speed rotating machine faces a serious danger because a safe distance is not maintained and the machine lacks adequate protective guarding. The worker's clothing suddenly becomes caught in the rotating roller. Within seconds, the worker is pulled toward the moving parts with no chance to react, resulting in a severe accident. These images clearly show how essential it is for all pinch and entanglement points on machines to be properly guarded. They also reinforce the importance of applying lockout-tagout procedures during maintenance or intervention and ensuring workers wear properly fitted work clothing. A routine inspection is being carried out on the rear tire assembly of a fuel tanker parked under the ring. A worker approaches the tire and slightly crouches to examine it on the wet ground. From the outside, the tire appears ordinary, but inside it contains extremely high-pressure energy. While the worker is close to the wheel, the tire suddenly explodes with a loud blast. The released air wave sends nearby tools flying, and the force of the explosion can even be felt through the ground. This incident clearly shows that pressurized truck tires pose a serious explosion hazard, and that no one should ever stand in the sidewall blast zone. Tire inspections must always be performed from a safe distance and with proper equipment. During assembly work on a temporary elevated platform at a manufacturing site, a serious fall incident occurs. While workers are aligning steel structures and equipment, a minor loss of balance takes place. In an area lacking a verified anchor point and full fall protection system, one worker loses balance and falls from the platform. Nearby teams immediately respond. The incident is reported to have resulted in injury. Work at height must not be carried out without anchored safety harnesses and guardrails. Temporary platforms must be inspected before use. During Yunza celebrations in Ancon, Peru, a serious accident occurs. A large decorated tree is being raised when it comes into contact with nearby high-voltage power lines. Individuals assisting fail to recognize the dangerous proximity to energized lines. Following contact, the tree catches fire and several people are severely affected. The incident is recorded by bystanders. One person loses their life and 4 others are reported injured. Work must never be conducted near energized power lines without proper authorization and risk assessment. All lifting operations should be carefully planned in advance. Coordination with relevant authorities is essential in areas close to electrical infrastructure.